Meeting of City Council for Monday, May 25th, 2026 to order. The City of Dawson Creek acknowledges that we are privileged to live and work on Treaty 8 territory and the traditional home of the Cree, Danaze, Saulteaux, Siksika, and Slavey First Nations. We value the Métis peoples that live and gather here. We commit to upholding a respectful relationship these nations have built with the land, and we acknowledge our responsibility to carry that forward today and into the future. So next order of business is 2 delegations. 2.1, we have Tanya Ezeard, Program Coordinator with the Dawson Creek Society for Community Living, and Sherman Hansen, the individual supported by Dawson Creek Society for Community Living, in attendance regarding the proclamation to declare May 31st to June 6, 2026 as National Accessibility Week in Dawson Creek. So good morning and welcome. Good morning. And you can stand like right here, I think, is where the camera catches it.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
sorry. No, that's all good. So whereas National Accessibility Week is celebrated annually across Canada to recognize and honor the contributions and leadership of persons with disabilities and to promote inclusive community where everyone belongs. And whereas individuals with disability enrich our communities through their talents, perspectives, and active participation in civic, culture, and economic life. And whereas families, caregivers, support workers, and community organizations play a vital role in fostering belonging, accessibility, and opportunity for people with disabilities. And whereas the City of Dawson Creek is committed to building a welcoming and inclusive community that values the dignity and potential of all residents. Now therefore, I, Darcy Dober, Mayor of the City of Dawson Creek, do hereby proclaim May 31st to June 6, 2026 as National Accessibility Week in the City of Dawson Creek, and encourage all citizens to join in celebrating the contributions of people with disabilities and promoting inclusive practices throughout our communities. So yeah, I think this covers a lot of what is done, but I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you both for coming in, but also to thank the Dawson Creek Society for Community Living for what they do in our community. They're kind of like, in a way, the unsung heroes of our community. Like, they do so much behind the scenes, and they don't do it for recognition. They do it just to help those that need the help and that have accessibility issues. So it's it's one of the things that, doing this role, you get to learn a lot of things about your community, but it was one of those that is always like just stuck with me, just to see really what is done there and how much the society does. So yeah, so just thank you for everything. And
Thank you.
Thank you
for the big goals, friendship and all that.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're welcome.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Was there anything that you wanted to add?
Just thank you.
Okay.
Just to thank you.
All
It's
right.
great. And I appreciate everybody's time.
Yeah, no, for sure. And really, I mean, it's easy for us to do this. The real thank you is for all of you. So what you do, and that's from everybody on council. Like, we are very appreciative. So yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so we can get a picture. I think in the middle, or how do you want it? I think Melissa's gonna go this way, so we'll stand.
You need to hold the other side of it?
Yeah, do you wanna come on?
Well,
Side here?
Sure.
Yeah, there. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you
So
bet.
much.
Yeah,
Really appreciate
yeah,
it.
no.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
All right, next order of business, we have Jeff Taylor, General Manager, and Marcel Capelle, the coach with the Dawson Creek Senior Canucks, in attendance regarding the Men's Provincial Hockey Championship update and the presentation of the Koi Cup. So, good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having us. Basically, we just wanted to pop in and show you the Koi Cup, and if you have any questions about how the week went, we wanted to thank you for your support, for helping us with that event, and basically, yeah, just we're both proud of this. It was great for the city. I don't know how many, I know a lot of people in this room were at the games. It was really, really good hockey. It brought a lot of financial impact to the community. We were doing the math, and we figure probably over $100,000, like probably $75,000 in hotels, and then restaurants, and like I was talking to a couple of the store owners at grocery stores, and they said teams were in there every day and stuff. So, you know, it cost a lot for the organization to put this on, but we were hoping there'd be big crowds to help us, and that did happen. And the fact that we went to the finals helped a lot too, because then we filled the barn and stuff like that. But we just wanted to say thank you for the city's support and contribution and help, and just you had any questions about how it went, or is there anything else you think of that you'd like to?
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it. I really appreciate the work that you guys put in. Even the rink staff is fantastic. I know I've got a lot of supporters in this room, and to put an event like that on it's a lot of work, and a lot of time and planning goes into it, and without the support of the city and local businesses, we wouldn't have been able to do it. For us, it went according to plan. The idea was to have a good week and win it at home. Being the first time that we've ever hosted the Koi Cup, it was a good event for us, and like Marcel said, there was good impact for the city as well. Some of the games were pretty exciting. It was the closest Koi Cup as far as teams have went for evenness. All four teams were going into day 3 1-1, which means that any of the 4 teams could have got the bye to the final, and any of those 4 teams on the Thursday could have been eliminated. And essentially, we had to go into day 3 to win to get in to the playoffs. And if we had won and a certain thing happened, we got the bye, which we did, to the final. That game ended up having a goalie fight, and a few exciting things happened, and then ultimately beat Quesnel in the final. So, just wanted to thank you guys for the support, and we are hoping that we can win it again next season, wherever it may be.
Perfect. Well, thank you. It doesn't feel right saying you're welcome, but you're welcome. But the real thank you is to you guys, like in the whole organization, because I seen a bit like how much work went into it, and how much quite a few of you put in, and just the effort to bring the Koi Cup to Dawson for the first time. And it was just phenomenal down there to see that the arena full almost every day. And, one of those things, right, that makes this community so amazing is our people. And when you do events like that, there's some contributions and there's some financial things that come to the community, but the real win is the community. Like, it brings community together, and you have all those youth that are down there and inspired. And then because of the history of the Dawson Creek Canucks as well, like you have, there was all ages of people in there that were just so passionate about it, and that have been involved with it over the years. So it was just amazing to see, and to see, a lot of the seniors out too that were, that have played on the team and have been part of it. So I talked to quite a few while I was there, and it's just, amazing. And then, to top it off, you get the trophy too, right? So that is just the thank you to you guys, right? Like, because that's because of all your hard work and your commitment, and not just this year, but for years. So just a real thank you to all of you, and a congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So.
It was nice to see when you talk about the community as well, like even games that we weren't in, because there was 2 games every day, right? I mean, there was a lot of people at games that the host city wasn't even in, which was nice to see. Like the community was supporting.
Yeah.
I filled up with fuel yesterday, and still people are coming up to me talking about it, saying how that was the best hockey game they've ever seen in this city, that final game. And we had adversity. We had players go down at the beginning of our last 2 games, good players on our team that were hurt early, that we had to play shorthanded, and so we went through adversity. But it was great. It was fun. I'm glad we could do that for the community.
Yeah.
And for our players, they deserved it. They played so hard. They wanted this so bad. So we're really happy for them. I mean, it was a great week. Yeah. Yeah,
it's really the dream in like those sports, right? When you're always playing for those trophies, but when you get to do it on your home turf too, right? Like, it's even that much more meaningful. So yeah, such an amazing thing for the community and the organization. So, yeah. Councillor McDonald?
Thank you, Worship. Most of what I had to say, His Worship has already said, but you know, it is a monumental task for an organization to take on an event like the Koi Cup. Securing the volunteers, securing all of it, the teams to be here, the hotel rooms, and just from us in the community, thank you. Thank you for bringing that to our community. It was an amazing couple of weeks of hockey, and it's just truly amazing to see in the community. So just a big thank you, guys. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, it just reminded me. Thanks, Councillor McDonald. I was talking to one of the team managers too that was up here, and they were just blown away too. The team that was it from the Kootenays? The one?
Roslyn Trail.
Yeah, I was talking to them just how like amazing it was up here and their experience up here, and they were just, and they're the team that had to travel kind of the furthest too and the hardest to get here. So it was, yeah, just amazing to have that hosted in our communities. So. When was the last time you won it? Because I remember, Jeffrey, you brought the trophy home. Was that the first year
Was that
of
5 years ago?
What, 2022? I think it was.
2022 was our first year.
I think it was the first year here. I remember it was. Yeah.
Yeah, we've won it now 4 times, I think it was.
Was 22 the last time you won it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct, yeah. We won it in, first year was Williams Lake, and then the COVID year, we had to do, we couldn't have a tournament, so we ended up having to go play everybody individually.
Oh,
Couldn't have
yeah.
Teams. So we won that one in Terrace, and then it was Fort St. John, I think, was the next one.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, it was, yeah, it's tougher. I think when the first 3 that we won, we won them in a row kind of thing. And, the guys were feeling, oh, this isn't too tough. And then we went down to Quesnel after the year we won and got whipped. So it
Yeah.
was kind of a reminder that, you know, we're not, we got to show up and play well. And luckily we did that this time around, and to do it at home. A lot of the guys really wanted an opportunity to do it at home and to host it, and we put a lot of time and travel into going and winning the first 3, but to do it in town, it was excellent. So
Yeah. Worth all the effort.
it was, yeah,
Yeah, good.
absolutely, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, thank you guys again, and congratulations. Make sure you pass that on to not just the team, but I know there's a big backbone to that team behind the scenes too. So
For sure.
to them as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Thanks
You guys
a
want
lot.
to get a picture?
Sure.
Yeah.
We can leave it at City Hall with you if you want to leave it up front for a day or 2 or
Yeah,
a
sure.
week or whatever you want.
You guys all want to get in for a picture, or?
Help lifting them? Yeah, you can't hold it.
I know how much you love hockey. Come on.
It's the oldest. 103 years old? Really? Wow.
Had a double, it was not lifted.
Doesn't leak anymore.
Doesn't leak anymore?
No.
Did you go for a swim?
It was at the bottom of Okanagan Lake, but when we went up before, you couldn't drink it. Well, you could drink it, but it got all over your shoes.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Awesome. Perfect.
Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. Congratulations.
Thanks, John.
Thanks. You bet. Take care.
Attempt to put this here for the council meeting. Between our 2 desks.
If you like.
Try it there. Well, I might not be able to see councillors down there though. All right, next order of business, we have Jamie Maxwell, Dawson Creek Triathlon Association in attendance regarding the request for letter of endorsement for the 2026 Dawson Creek Triathlon on July 12th, 2026. So,
Thank you so
morning,
much.
Jamie.
Morning.
How are you today?
Pretty good.
Good.
Now fully retired.
Are you from now?
June. Fully retired in June. So,
Will that be the same next year, or will that?
yeah.
So what does fully retired mean? Because you were substituting?
No, I worked for Skills Canada, British Columbia for 7 years
Oh,
after
okay.
I retired from the high school. So I worked for the Vancouver office, and 2 years ahead planned my retirement. So
Oh, yeah. Well, congratulations.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
The Dawson Creek Triathlon will return for 11th year on Sunday, May 12th, 2026. The sport of triathlon commonly involves swim, cycle, and run in that order. Other events covered by the governing organization include duathlon, which is run, bike, run, aquathlon, which is run, swim, run, and aquabike, which is swim and bike. And we do have a duathlon as part of our event. In our time, we've evolved to be an event that accommodates all ages and abilities. Our youth component in 2025, 55 athletes.
Wow.
It was stunning. I had built new bike racks and they overflowed everything. So I have to build more. 55 athletes from ages 4 to 13. There were about 35 adults participating last year. The race. Athletes mainly come from the BC and Alberta Peace region, with a few from farther away. We serve a wide variety of interests. For some, beginning an endurance sport journey, this is a safe local event on quiet roads. For those passionate about a competitive event, there is the lane of fastest swimmers in the pool, which you can be in. The cycle course, which is quiet and rural residential, so we use the back road to Poos Koopy. It'll always be rural residential. It's wonderful. It offers a nasty hill because they have to go up Trailway and Trail Sub. And the Dawson Trail offers a fast rolling course to lay down your best run effort. There are teams of friends, family, and youth who share 3 legs of the race for a more recreational effort. I would like to warn you about ambiance. Attending a community triathlon event can lead to a massive burst of positive thinking. And it is like that. Like triathlon was always like that for me. When I participated, like everybody there was pretty blissful, even if they were really hurt, right? It was a pretty good event. Paving. The race organizers would like to thank Dawson Creek City Council for some recent paving. The paving of the worst section of the pool parking lot in 2025 was a godsend for all the bare feet of athletes exiting the pool and getting on their bikes, and there was less prep work for organizers. The paving of the last section of 116th and 1st Street by the water recycling station was also a surprise good thing. The organizers have changed the cycle course accordingly, using only one intersection to get across the Highway 2. So basically they're on Highway 2 for 30 seconds.
Yeah, just going across now.
Just across, and saving a lot of money on the traffic management contractor. Traffic management for getting onto the highway and off the highway has been a huge bill for quite a long time. Volunteers and executive. We require about 35 to 40 volunteers who come from the Dawson Creek area mainly. Volunteers guide athletes and act as a speed damper on open roads. Any members of the public who wish to volunteer can use the contact link on our website or message our Facebook page. Our board only has 3 directors. Volunteers who have experienced our event may wish to join the executive. Sponsorship, finances. This event generates about 5,000 in registrations with a budget of about 10,000 and requires fundraising. Our event has enjoyed a combination of local in-kind and cash sponsorship with a bit of energy industry support along the way. And the finances end is fairly calm these days. So, any questions?
I don't have any questions besides just to thank you. I mean, pretty, amazing that it's been 11 years. So thank you I know you've been a huge part of that. So to you and to all the volunteers and the board. But also, like, it's pretty exciting that you had 55 youth last year between 4 and 13.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah.
does that continue to grow? Or is that?
I think so. So
Yeah.
what happened was I was already stuck on all athletes, do all events.
Yeah.
I was pretty stuck on that because that's sort of where I came from. And but we had relays for adults, and then the parents when when you're a school teacher or when you're a race organizer and your parents come to you more than once with a certain request, you tend to listen. And so we created the family relay. And the family relay is an adult, a couple of kids, 3 cousins, whatever, and they're all on 116th. They don't cross the highway.
Okay.
They don't. And, well, that event's really popular.
Yeah.
And I think that we eventually will see some of those kids who, it's a gradual become familiar, lose your inhibitions or fears situation that some of the kids would graduate to doing all 3 portions of the event, after some years of doing the family relay.
Yeah.
So all good.
Yeah, exposes them to that, right? So as they grow and yeah.
And we're so lucky the weather right there at that weekend is always pretty good. In one year we had smoke, but 5 people did not participate on that morning because a lot of times when we had smoke, the mornings were cooler.
Yeah.
And the smoke wasn't as acrid. By the afternoon it got worse, So anyway, things are going well.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for all of it.
Well, and thank you so much for your time. Get along really well with Mr. Hawkins. He's the trailer full of barricades. He's quite. That's an asset.
Yeah.
And so last year, I put it in my driveway for the night, and then after the event, I took it back to the yard and met an employee there. I had a phone number for an employee.
Yeah.
And she came and unlocked the gate, and so from his point of view, the barricades are well looked after.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Well, we appreciate that.
Well, yeah.
Teamwork.
So
Okay.
I'd like to thank you all.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you. Enjoy your
Have a good
day,
day.
and good luck this year. Thank you, Jamie. All right, we'll vary the agenda and we'll go to 2026 strategic priority chart. No updates this council meeting. Anything, Kevin? No? Any questions, council? No? I'm gonna move this down. It's heavy. I didn't drop it either. I just sat it down. All right, any late items? No late items. 5 new councillor business. Councillor Parslow.
Yes, I have been responding to a number of requests to view certain things. I must just pass it as a comment. I viewed a number of abandoned camps in my role within the gun club for other reasons, and I was just full of disgust for the deprived people who see pleasure in destroying property. These 3 camps that I visited, it was like going to a place you might expect to see that's been bombed as a result of military activity. The value within those camps, the potential use in those camps, it's just disgusting. We're trying to salvage the water treatment, wastewater systems. They've been, the person who put them in was never paid and has donated them if we can get them out. So that was why I was there.
Okay.
But anyway, apart from that, I was taken on a tour of the trail east of 8th Street and was shown how the east section of that trail, east of 8th Street, could possibly be brought back into action. There were a number of concerns that I have as a result of that visit. And I do want to say that I recognize that this is not a simple issue. It's a complex issue. There's all sorts of opinions. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I don't have an opinion other than I see and I'm sure we all do perhaps, the inherent potential of that trail, should it be safe to operate with. I'm not qualified to talk about the safety of it. But I do share some concerns because I'm ashamed to say I haven't been to the cemetery there for a few years. And I did use that opportunity to tour the cemetery. The cemetery's been pretty well looked after. But there is concern about erosion in the future of that cemetery on the minds of some people who took me there. Mm-hmm. And so I'm wondering, about, we have, I forget the term, Kevin will jump in here. I think we've decommissioned the trail. By that I understand to mean that we're no longer maintaining it. Whilst it's still accessible, the bridge that was washed out is not being replaced because of its vulnerability to flood. Just a smaller flood. There are suggestions that the banks can easily be stabilized without any interference with the creek. And it was explained to me how it could be done. But I just would feel remiss if I didn't mention that there's this concern out there that the council hasn't really paid really serious attention to this, and that it's a lost asset. But I know it would be just a dreadful thing if anything happened to that cemetery. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just wondering if we could, at some future council meeting, have a committee of the whole, if you like, whatever staff and yourself feel. But I think we need to have a review, a conversation about it. Are there any options? What are the risks? What are the risks to the cemetery? Okay?
Yeah.
I spent some time in that cemetery. Just the last time I was at the cemetery was about 10 years ago, and it's incredibly the names. Having lived here now since 1981, all the names I knew and people I knew, and but I now know where that some of them are buried, and so I do want to commend the cemetery. It seems to be well looked after, and that's great. But I want to make sure that we can protect that cemetery, and if it is vulnerable, I'm not saying it is. I'm not coming here as an expert.
Yeah.
I have no opinions, but I do think we need to have a discussion about it at some future meeting. Yeah. That whole trail as a refresher about why it was decommissioned, what are the risks, what would it take to stabilize certain areas, are there alternative pathways of linking to that trail? Are they where is it? Is that in a long-term plan? All those sort of things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Councillor Parslow. Kevin, did you want to speak to that? No, we probably could have a committee of the whole maybe to understand a little bit on the cemetery.
Yeah, no,
I think on the trail, I don't know what you...
Sure. Yeah, through your worship, I think it'd probably be a good refresher because there is a decision of council. I'm saying 6 or 7 years. It could be even more than that. Time goes by. We had brought some reports at that time because of the geotechnical issues and stabilization and what we've done and what could be done and cost associated with it. And there was a decision made at that time, council, not to proceed with that work. So essentially, And then I think the most recently, our active transportation plan highlighted that was a decommissioned part of the trail. That came this year, last year. So I think we could bundle all that up and come and have a discussion, because there's some recent stuff and then there's some other decisions that were made some time ago.
Okay.
And then again, from the cemetery aspect, I don't recall specifically that being part of the discussion, but I think the trail just to the east of the cemetery is where we had some of the erosion and sloughing, and so one could certainly interpret that that is an issue with the banks right there as well with Brookside. So yeah, we can certainly look to have that.
Do you want a motion for that, or do you?
Yeah, I think it would be good to do that, just to get some direction that we can put it into our calendars.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion, Councillor Parslow?
Sure, I would move it.
Can you just push your button, Cal?
I would like to move it at a future meeting of council that a presentation review the reasons for the decommissioning of the trail and and review of any concerns as it relates to the cemetery and its risk of being subject to erosion. I think that would cover it all. So this is a briefer, and we can then flow from that. No pun intended. We can slide into that further topic.
Thanks, Councillor Parslow. Councillor McDonald, second. Any discussion? No, I'll call that motion to vote. I don't have anything coming up. I haven't been able to call the vote. Oh. Okay. You can go ahead and vote now. Vote is closed. And it's carried. There was one opposed, it said. But it flashed. Hope it wasn't me by accident. Yep. Oh, it was. I was like thinking afterwards, I'm like, I think I just hit that button. So I'm sorry, Councillor Parslow. I don't need to recall it. It was carried. I voted. For the record, I didn't intentionally vote opposed to you, Councillor Parslow. All right, Councillor Earl.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to extend a compliment to staff and follow up with a question, specifically to our recreations and communications people, who I see this past week have sent out to the community a pretty impressive offering of summer camps for kids. Include a variety of recreation, adventure, outdoor exploration. I see some archery, some 4-H stuff, things that engage various amenities throughout the community. So I wanted to commend the departments for that. I think it's keeping with the approach we've been striking towards for several years now, and it's good to see. Just a question with respect to the archery and the 4-H, and I'm not sure what else. I assume we are partnering with external entities to provide those courses. I don't think we have staff at the city who are offering archery or horse stuff. It's kind of outside our wheelhouse.
Yes, through your worship to Councillor Earl. We are actively, and even like in the previous years, are seeking or have sought community partnerships with, whether it be the golf course.
Soccer, you've got one there too.
Soccer, or even up in past winter we did with the snowshoeing and et cetera, right? And so I think that we're just looking to look to ways to amplify each other's opportunities and offerings and services to provide a much broader options for the community
I think
going forward.
That is great. I think getting more use out of what we have, and be it through us or through a partner nonprofit or business or what have you, is wonderful. Just wondering, how is the insurance managed? Is that something they do and we're a third party? Or are we doing it just because I know, especially with equine stuff that I'm more familiar with, the individual insurance requirements are pretty substantial. So
Yeah,
just
the
wondering how we're
insurance
navigating that.
is through your worship. Understanding it's a city program, city-led program, city-run program, and so it's through
the city.
through the city's insurance. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
That was it. I just wanted to highlight that and thank you and get a bit more information. So wonderful.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Councillor Earl. Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Worship. I just wanted to report back to council that I attended the NCLGA AGM last week. We had a great AGM. We got a lot of business done. We adopted our new strat plan for the next 4 years. Big one for the Peace region and ourselves was the adoption of the new membership plan. The membership fee plan now is simple, easily calculable, and very predictive. And it's a lot more fair and just, I believe, to all the different regions within the NCLGA. So great new membership fee plan was adopted. And through business, we got about 50 plus resolutions debated and voted upon for UBCM. And I'm proud to say that our resolution on mental health for youth was unanimously supported. So great resolution, well done everybody in the room, and hopefully it garners some good attention at UBCM and from the province. So great NCLGA all around, and was happy to be there to represent.
Perfect. Thanks, Councillor McDonald.
And
I was going to bring it up
sorry.
under, I'll cut you off actually. I was going to bring it up under mayor's updates, but I wanted to congratulate you as well because I believe there's a new president for NCLGA.
Yes.
So I, just wanted to congratulate you. I don't think there would be a better person to represent NCLGA, but just your commitment and your sure determination to get things done, like you are definitely, they should be grateful that, and I think we are, that you are, the president of NCLGA. So yeah, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I very humbled by the membership's support. Super happy to be in the role. Looking forward to this next year and continuing to build on what's been done in the last year on good governance and good advocacy, and just bringing the NCLGA back to a very respected level by the province and amongst our peers out there. So thank you very much. Yeah. I really appreciate that. The other thing I was going to bring up was the Interact Club's Jail and Bail was this past weekend. It was a lot of fun. And I'd like to thank those in this room that actually accepted my phone call. I appreciate you all. And those that ignored it, you won't be forgotten. Thank you.
I don't like how you looked. Yeah, well, I know.
I wasn't looking at you.
No, I do. I figured where it was coming, but sorry for interrupting you too on the NCLJ stuff. I just,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Councillor Parslow?
Yes, well,
Only for what you pushed the button for initially, not for any other response that made him come.
yes, well, I was pretty busy nursing my sick wife, but I don't know. I won't comment on that. So one thing I have been sharing with Kevin, and I think maybe just yourself, but I read something again today that totally, I think, needs to be discussed by council with staff here, and it's something that's happened in Penticton. As you know, my daughter is responsible for that whole area, and I get a lot of information about what they're doing in Penticton. And, you know, we have some staff here that don't get any attention, really. But they do absolutely key, important work, and it's our public works department.
Mm-hmm.
And I suggested to Kevin, we looked at this in Penticton. They have in recognition of Public Works Week, they have this showcase in their Public Works department. And the report today I read, you know, I think something like, I stand to be corrected about that, 6 schools attended demonstrations, a number of daycares. I think it was either 1,500 or 3,000 odd people during the week. I don't know what it would take to do that, but I do think, you know, we appreciate our staff.
Yeah.
Public Works, they go out in all sorts of weather, fix all sorts of things. We need them. They're very important people, but I kind of like the concept. And so I was just wondering if at some future time we could again discuss that. What would that look like? Is there something in a maybe not as the same way as Penticton, a much larger community, but do something, because I know people depend on them and are appreciative of what they do when they're called upon.
Yeah, great idea. I think it's, important to recognize, so.
Yeah, so through your worship, it's certainly something that Devin and I have talked about for the last few years. We just haven't been able to get it off the ground, but we see the value in that as engaging, especially the schools, the youth, and the public to come see, touch, you know, the equipment and understand what everybody does, and that, it'd be great. I think it's a great opportunity and something we'll take back for sure.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Councillor Parslow. Councillor Apollonio?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just airing, of course, thank you. Again, you know that June 15 will be our council meeting next month, and of course, it's the Filipino Heritage Month. Yeah. So you are invited again to come at lunchtime or at noontime. And then, of course, the Filipino committee will provide some refreshment. And thank you very much also for the city for always supporting the initiative from the Filipino community. And just saying thank Kevin for your city employee, especially to the bus driver, Tammy, for always providing excellent service, especially to the individuals that we are supporting. She was really caring. She came back for us when we went back, when we are late to the bus, 10 o'clock. She just turned around and then just pick it up again. And of course, thank you to Kim from the tourism, who took our pictures during our cleanup. Always doing an excellent job at the NAR Park. Always the energy, the vibrancy, and of course, representing the city and of course the tourism. Just saying thank you to them. They're so excellent.
Thank you, Councillor Apollonio. Any other new councillor business? No? All right. Next, 6, adoption of minutes. 6.1 minutes of the regular meeting of council held on May 11th, 2026 for adoption. Councillor Sudnick, second Councillor McDonald. Call that to vote. Vote is closed and it's carried. Any business arising? No? All right. 8, correspondence. 8.1, we have a letter from Megan Longley, Secretary of the Dawson Creek Pride Society, received on May 4th, 2026, regarding a request to raise the Pride flag on May 29th, 2026. Councillor Earl.
Pardon me. Thank you, Worship. I move that we grant the Pride Society's request.
Second, Councillor Kemp, discussion. I'll call that to vote. Vote is closed and it's carried. Next, 9 reports. 9.1, we have report number 26-093 from the General Manager of Community Services regarding the South Peace Soccer Association reduction in field fees. Okay, Councillor Kemp's just going to leave. So we have
there's a deferred motion on this. So I'm just going to put the deferred motion on the floor. I know there's a recommendation for discussion, but we can just discuss under the motion that was made at a previous council meeting. So I'll just put on the floor that council approve a grant in lieu for the South Peace Soccer Association to waive fees for the 2026 soccer season. So that motion will be on the floor, and we can just have discussion around that, and then, yeah. Any discussion? Councillor Earl?
Thank you, Worship, and thank you to staff for the updated information. I think it adds another, or peels back another layer of the onion, as somebody I know might be fond of saying. Certainly, I can sympathize with the challenges the soccer club's facing, but I think key to this discussion is understanding what the path back to sustainability looks like, and whether or not in doing this we are creating an expectation that this will be granted in perpetuity. I mean, currently the soccer fields are only recouping 10% of the costs of having them, which is, somewhat askew from, I think, what the original intention around fees and subsidies are, but that's a bit of a moving target, and it is every year. And then while there are some savings assumed within the budget, there is also, insofar as once they have their books in order, they anticipate spending less on a bookkeeper. There's also the fact that they've hired staff, so that's going to drive costs. So where we land on that, and I think it's a very fair point for staff to raise, and something else to be mindful of, is as we look to help organizations, because we want to maintain, we certainly don't want to be in a position where we're the sole provider of, this infrastructure and administrative and all that, the city. And if organizations like this go away, that's where it ends up. We also need to understand what the path back to sustainability looks like. So I think I'm hesitant to vote to grant the subsidy barring a bit more information, but I'd be interested in hearing what my colleagues' thoughts are on this.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Councillor Parslow?
Well, the thing that sticks out for me is that this organization has paid staff. And from my knowledge of a number of other associations with much larger budgets, they don't have paid staff. And so I can't support anything unless there's some compelling reasons that can be presented to me by staff why this relatively small budget includes the provision of a paid staff person. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to be supporting any relief whatsoever.
Okay.
Unless Ryan, who's done obviously a lot of research into this, has something that would change my opinion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Parslow. And I think, Ryan, this report has done very well and it's got a lot of information in it. So I'm on the same page as Councillor Parslow. This is something I don't believe I can support right now. So any other discussion? I'll call this motion to vote.
So just to be clear, the motion we're voting on is?
The one that was deferred that's on the floor. So the motion that is we're voting on, we'll just read it back here once I get to it. Is that council approve a grant in lieu for the South Peace Soccer Association to waive the fees for the 2026 soccer season. So just to clarify, that's the motion on the floor. So if you're in favor or you want to, support them in fees, then you would be in favor. If you don't, then yeah, opposed. Everybody's clear, good on that? Okay, I'll call this motion to vote. Vote is closed, and it's defeated. Councillor Apollonio, myself, Councillor Earl McDonald, Councillor Parslow, and Councillor Sudnick opposed. Could somebody let Councillor Kemp know that she can come back in?
And there's no further action on this required then?
No, I don't think so. Nothing further, huh? Okay. All right, next order of business was 9.2. We have report number 26-095 from the corporate officer regarding appointment of chief and deputy chief elections officer for the 2026 general local election. Councillor Earl?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll move the recommendation that report number 26-095 from the corporate officer regarding appointment of chief and deputy chief election officers for the 2026 general local election be received. Further, that council appoints pursuant to section 58(1) of the Local Government Act for the 2026 general local election, Tabitha Young, corporate officer, as a chief election officer, and Janice Anderson, deputy corporate officer, and Tanya Stettel, records management project coordinator, as deputy chief election officer.
Thank you, Councillor Earl. Second, Councillor Apollonio. Discussion. I'll call this motion to vote. Vote is closed, and it's carried. Next, we have 9.3, report number 26-096 from the Chief Administrative Officer regarding a request for quotation, the 2026-18 Airport De-icing Unit, supply and delivery. Councillor Parslow.
I move that report number 26-096 from the CAO, we request for quotation 2026-18 Airport De-icing Unit, supply and delivery be received. Further, Council award RFQ 2026-18 Airport De-icing Unit, supply and delivery to Polar Aircraft De-icer Inc. for $413,443, excluding applicable taxes.
Thank you, Councillor Parslow. Second, Councillor McDonald. Any discussion? Well, I'll call this motion to vote. Vote is closed, and it's carried. Was it all carried? Yes. Okay, carried. Thank you. Next, 9.4, we have report number 26-097 from the Director of Operations regarding the water treatment plant, supervisory control, and data acquisition system replacement. Councillor McDonald?
Thank you, Worship. I'd like to move that report number 26-097 from the Director of Operations regarding water treatment plant supervisory control and data acquisition system replacement be received. Further, the Council authorized the use of sewer capital reserve funds for the purchase and installation of a replacement SCADA system, and further, the Council authorized a total expenditure of $218,072. Including contingency funds in accordance with the emergency purchase provisions outlined in the city's purchasing policy.
Thank you, Councillor McDonald. Second, Councillor Kemp. Discussion.
I just had one question. In the report, it says the new system will only be good for 5 to 10 years. Is there not a better option out there for something that'll have a longer use for us, or is that just the way technology is as far as that goes?
Go ahead, Devin.
Yeah, through your worship, it is just the way technology goes.
5 years seems so short, though, really.
It is, but it does seem short, but with the changing technology, especially around cybersecurity and things like that, this technology moves very quickly.
Okay.
If, for context, in 2019, I went to a cybersecurity conference at the end of 2019, and since that time, in 6 years, the solutions out there have changed substantially. So the hardware changes, the communications hardware changes, and then the software is constantly changing.
So it's more just about the cybersecurity than it is about the actual system itself.
A big part of it is cybersecurity. Obviously, your water and sewer systems, you want to be the most secure.
Yes.
But you also have, just in general, the software. The software is connected directly into the inputs of the equipment that's at the water treatment plant, and that is constantly changing. So as you're replacing those things, you're replacing the hardware as well.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Devin. Thanks, Councillor McDonald. Councillor Earl?
Yeah, actually, it's very similar to the thoughts I was going to express, and thank you to Devin for the answer.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Earl. Any other discussion? No, I'll call this motion to vote. Vote is closed and it's carried. I'm just going to vary the agenda and go to 9.6. Report number 26-099 from the Capital Projects Manager regarding invitation to tender 2026-24 Capital Roadworks, Canalta Subdivision Phase 1. Councillor Earl.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll move the recommendation that report number 26-099 from the Capital Projects Manager regarding invitation to tender 2026-24 Capital Roadworks, Canalta Subdivision Phase 1 be received. Further, that Council award the contract for ITT 2026-24 Capital Roadworks, Canalta Subdivision Phase 1 to Parallel Projects Incorporated for the tendered price of $1,616,819.04, excluding GST.
Thank you, Councillor Earl. Second, Councillor Kemp. Any discussion?
Well, thank you to staff for this. Just a quick question, because there may be some confusion among the public that this is a two-phased project, and I know of the two phases we're going to do. I'd imagine some people might argue that the second phase is probably the more beat up of the two roads, although it is a solid race. Are we, as we are communicating this phase of the project, are we going to be communicating to the public that next year we're doing the rest? Just because, you know, people talk, and I know we're gonna, the 110th Ave and the 20th Street going up would be probably the more beat up of the two, and that's going to be till next year.
Yes.
So how are we communicating with the public that, yes, the second phase is coming while we do the first? Because
Yeah, so through your worship, definitely will communicate that. And I know, talking with Devin, that the engineering, they were looking at what was the best way to phase this. And yeah, we're aware that 110th is probably, that stretch is probably the worst of the two. But I believe from a phasing perspective, this is the one that, and
Makes
Devin
more
can
sense.
elaborate. There was some engineering of why we wanted to do this stretch first.
Yeah, through your worship, the phasing does look a bit odd. The reason for the phasing is access. Through 109th Avenue, first of all, we're putting the storm system in, which will allow the water to drain, and also we're going through many of the intersections. So if we were to do 19th, 110th, and 20th Street first, we would effectively cut off and create an island of people that can't access. By doing it this way, we have an access to, everybody has access to the front streets or the alleyways while we go around, and we won't need to be in the intersections. We can move around the intersections and keep those open so people can continue to access their homes. So a big part of it is how did we lessen the impact to the community and the neighbors? Although it looks kind of funny, we spent a lot of time, as you remember, in the Camarlo sub for those three phases as well. Mm-hmm. Access is a huge thing, because we're going to be in there for months, and the road is going to be ripped right down to core in some spots. So it's not like we can just drive through 4x4 in.
Okay. And I guess one last follow-up piece of trivia, because I don't think I've ever asked it. 19th Street, do we know, was that just never paved because there was never seen as a need for it? Is it not something that there's any, I mean, I'm not advocating that we take on more, obviously. We've got our hands full, but it is curious to have a street adjacent to a school just be a dirt road. Yeah,
through your worship, the school district has asked for a number of years for that to be paved. And unfortunately, it's viewed more like a parking lot than it is a road, and that's probably why it hasn't really seen. But it is our right of way, and therefore it is actually technically 19th Street. So unfortunately, it's just been not a priority.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Earl. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Devin. Any other discussion? We'll call this motion to vote.
Vote is closed. It's carried. Okay, I'm just going to vary the agenda one more time and go to 16.1, resolution to move into the meeting of council closed to the public for agenda item 7.1, section 91K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are at the preliminary stage and that in the view of council could reasonably be expected to harm the interest of the municipality if they were held in public. Councillor Apollonio, second Councillor Kemp, call that to vote. Vote is closed and it's carried. For those that are watching, we'll probably be back online in 20 minutes or so. 26 back to order. Let's vary the agenda and we will go to 9.5, report number 26-098 from the General Manager of Major Infrastructure and Development regarding the BC Transit Annual Operating Agreement 2026-2027. Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Worship. I'd like to move that we continue to defer this motion and decision until our first meeting in June.
Yep. Thanks, Councillor McDonald. Second, Councillor Kemp. Discussion.
As a liaison with the Step Up and Ride Association, I am able to attend their next board meeting on tomorrow night. And at that time, I'll be able to bring back much more solid and substantive information in regards to their future. And I think it would be proper for us to have that information before we make a choice on this motion.
Thanks, Councillor McDonald. Any other discussion? I'll call this motion to vote. Vote is closed. It's carried. Next was 9.7. We have report number 26-104 from the Chief Administrative Officer regarding water conservation measures. Councillor Kemp.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll move the recommendation, the report number 26-104 from the Chief Administrative Officer regarding water conservation measures be received. Further, the Council rescind the Stage 3 water conservation measures effective immediately and return to Stage 1 water conservation measures.
Thank you, Councillor Kemp. Second, Councillor McDonald. Discussion. Councillor McDonald.
Well, thank you, Worship. I just wanted to say what a great job our city staff are doing with this file. You guys are on it. You've been truly professional throughout it, and I think it truly shows the fact that we are moving back to the Stage 1. Shows just how much you're paying attention to the file and not just staying with the status quo because it's easy. Well done to everybody.
Thanks, Councillor McDonald. Councillor Parslow.
So you will come back to council as soon as you get concerned about the state of our water system. It would take how long to go back to, let's say, Stage 3? A 1 week notice usually to the public, or?
Yeah, through Your Worship, I think it's 72 hours.
72 hours notice? Okay.
Yeah.
So I take it right now that water is flowing over our weirs and?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Through Your Worship. Yeah, it flows in the river. I mean, are starting to decline, which is normal to some degree. I mean, obviously we haven't had a whole lot of moisture, but Bear Hole is still flowing, river's still flowing, reservoirs are full. I think it's prudent on us to manage the system, and that's part of it, and that's why we're doing it. And if the weather doesn't change, we'll be back. But in the meantime, I think we as a community need to be able to carry on. And there's a reason we built the reservoirs and store the water we do, is to manage through this. And those reservoirs give us a lot of time, a lot of lead time in order to make decisions. So we're able to do this.
My only concerns is, is the strong complacency culture that exists, right? I don't see any other wise decision at this time. I mean, it's harmless to do this, don't get me wrong, but, you know, there's a lot of people there that I think, you know, some people may say things, but they do reflect some common conversation. So I just want to say that if you believe in science, and climate science is pretty sophisticated, that this pattern of drought is not a 1 year, 2 year, it's been a 3 or 4 year thing, here maybe 5 years, it's going to continue.
Yeah.
So we mustn't take our foot off the pedal in getting a secure water system. Anybody who thinks that Kiscatna is a secure water system, okay, in our present time is, and in the immediate future is bonkers. Yeah. So we got to keep working at it, and I hope we get some engagement with the feds and provincial government and develop a plan, a target date for when we will have that funding in place to have a secure water line to the piece.
Yeah. And through your worship, just on that, it's a good opportunity to say that Devon will be coming with an update on that project here in June. And then hopefully by end of July, early August, we'll have that kind of phase complete that's going to give us insights into all the options we've explored, what's viable, what's not viable, what those, you know, estimated costs associated with all that information that is really going to lead in, well, I feel, from a timing perspective, to lead us into UBCM, lead us into opportunities to speak with upper levels of government, because we will have a lot of that homework, so to speak, done on what is what's in front of us, what those options are, and with some numbers attached, because we need to be able to go and have the conversation and say, this, whatever option it is the preferred option, and this is what we're up against. And so I think that'll be important.
Yeah, and once we have that, like, then we can, you know, we've been talking provincially and trying to federally, but once we actually have that real data, then we can go there with those packages and have real dialogue. Yeah. So thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Councillor Parslow. Any other discussion? I'll call this motion to vote. Vote is closed and it's carried. Next 10 bylaws, 10.1, we have report number 26-094 from the Director of Development Services regarding development costs charge bylaw number 4623-2026 for consideration of adoption. Councillor Sudnick.
Move that recommendation, report number 26094 from the Director of Development Services regarding those development cost charge bylaw number 4623-2026 be received. Further, that development cost charge bylaw 4623-2026 be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor Sudnick. Second, Councillor Apollonio. Discussion. Call this motion to vote. Vote is closed and it's carried. All right, next 11, Mayor's business, Mayor's updates. I'll just go through these. I had a tour of the courthouse a few weeks ago, so it was just nice. The sheriffs just took me through and got to meet a couple of the new sheriffs, so it was really good and just nice to be in there and visit with their team as well. Chamber of Commerce, they got their annual conference coming up January 1st to the 3rd, but I was talking to Naomi from the Chatwin Chamber of Commerce, and they're organizing a bit of a tour for, I believe it's about 25 of the chamber representatives from the province, so they're going to be circling kind of through, starting in Fort St. John, Hudson Hope, Chatwin, Tumbler Ridge, and then coming to Dawson Creek, and then back to Fort St. John, so they'll be here, so I just wanted to let everybody know about that. Volunteer group meeting. We just had a meeting with some individuals. Kevin and I did from some volunteer groups, just on some of the projects we're working on the trail system, our signage, and just there was maybe a few concerns just about maybe the communication part a little bit. So it was just nice for them to come in and just have some open dialogue with us. And
None of it was intentional by any means on our part, but it was just it was nice to just to hear from them. So I just wanted to bring a bit of awareness to that, and we did with them as well that our one of our strategic priorities is relationships and community and building together. So if, along the path, there was something that was missed, it was definitely not intentional because it's not part. So we had some good dialogue. So it was good. Peace River Regional District, I had a meeting with Northern Health and Chair Sperling and Director Hansen, just on regards to the Peace Villa senior housing that was put on pause in Fort St. John. So we're just exploring some different avenues for that, and also talked about some senior housing in the South Peace as well. So we're just kind of having some dialogue around that initially, but there is some work going on with that. So I'll continue to give updates as we progress with that. Community conversations. I had quite a few actually in the last few weeks. There was a bit. Offhand, I not much to bring up right now, but there was some stuff that'll come a bit later. Physician welcome dinner. I attended a welcome dinner for the physicians put on by the physicians themselves. That was a few weeks ago, but it was it was just a great opportunity. There was the 4 new physicians that were in town, so it was a great opportunity. I've already met a couple of them. There was 2 new that I didn't meet, so it was great to meet them, but it also had a majority of our existing physicians there as well, so it was nice just to just welcome the new physicians, but also thank the current ones that we have and their commitment to the healthcare here, and it was just nice to visit with them and see them all in that environment, so... Canada Day Parade is coming up in Poos. We just need to know, I just have it on here just to know who from council can attend. Councillor Kemp, Councillor Apollonio.
I can right now, this time.
Okay, yeah. And Councillor Sudnick, and then myself. So, okay, perfect. And then do we want to, last year we just used one of the city vehicles. Should we do the same thing, or? I also have a car that if you wanted to drive it, you're more than welcome if you're going to be there.
Truck worked out good.
Truck, okay. You guys are good with that? Okay. All right. Friends of the Library Seniors Strawberry Tea. I attended, it was last Wednesday maybe, in the afternoon, but it was nice. I believe they do it monthly, but I went to this one and it was nice there. It was full. There was a lot of seniors in there, which was amazing to see and visit with. There was also Rotary, brought a bus load of seniors down as well, so that was nice. But the Dawson Creek Secondary School Musical Theater was there for the play Frozen. So they did 4 skits, and it was absolutely phenomenal just to hear those youth, and it was like they didn't come with props. They just kind of did some skits, but it was, just hearing their voices and seeing their passion. It was very exciting. So the Frozen musical theater is coming up. I believe it's the June 6th weekend. So I just wanted to kind of to put that out there to the public for those that are around. It would be definitely worth seeing. I know they put on a theater each year, and they're I'm really looking forward to it. It looks exciting, and it was just great to conversate too with the youth after they did their little skit, and the seniors really enjoyed it. So it was great. UBCM meeting. I just wanted to touch base. I had a meeting with the college, so I just was going to bring this up to council. Those UBCM meeting requests will come back to council, but I did talk to the college, so we're just adding a few things to that one. So I was just going to bring some awareness to everybody here, but they're kind of their 3 top things were there's been a post-secondary review being done by the minister, which should be coming out for completion prior to UBCM. So one would be for us to understand that and review that, which we will know before UBCM. We just don't have it now. Also, just the Northern Lights College's commitment to working with the healthcare authority up here, and
am putting a strong business case forward to assist in the building of healthcare professionals and to help on those positions that are needed to be filled. And they're not getting, they didn't get much support this year on them. So just that, to continue to advocate for that, which we've done. And then just the trades training investment, which has been identified by the province. So just the importance of that for the trades up here, but also that there could be some commitment to seeing some investment in the technology that these trades are using in the schools. So just to keep up to date, technology is changing daily, and not necessarily in all their trades, their equipment hasn't kept up to pace with the way things have went. So yeah, so I just wanted to bring awareness to everybody here that I was adding those three, which will come back. Any questions on any of those? No? All right. Next, 11.2, we have the delegation request from the Dawson Creek Triathlon Association. So we didn't go over much of that while the delegation was here, but the request is the same as it's been every year. So I just need a motion to, in regards to that request. Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to move that we grant the Dawson Creek Triathlon Association's request for support for mayor, council, and the city.
Thank you, Councillor McDonald. Second, Councillor Kemp. Discussion. Call that motion to vote. Vote is closed. It's carried. Next, 12, Chief Administrative Officer Operational Updates.
Yeah, good morning. I've pretty much updated water in my last discussion back in the conservation measures report. The only other thing I would mention is I'm sure you've seen crews out on 8th Street in Alaska. We're still plugging away, cleaning up the remnants of winter. So that's consuming a fair amount of time. This is either week 3 or week 4 that we've been on that main corridor going through the community of brooming the boulevards, washing the sidewalks, sweeping, resweeping. It's in my time here, it's evolved into quite an operation. There was a time we'd just send a couple folks out there with a water truck and they wash it off. Now we have, or sweep, but now we have to pre-wet. We have to have traffic control, and it's all. I'm not saying it's wrong. It becomes a lot bigger operation and more time consuming and of course more costly. So. So it's taking a little bit longer. Part of it is because a lot of winter sand material went out, but I would like to point out that all the stuff we're cleaning up for this last 3 weeks is not the material we put down. It's all the stuff that the Ministry of Transportation hired Argo to put down. So we're cleaning up the ministry's mess for the last 3 weeks. So I think that's a great opportunity for us to talk more about that with AUBCM. I think it's just an awareness piece of the significant cost that comes with it. The desire for us to clean up the community, which I think everybody wants. But if we don't do it, neither will they. So unfortunately, we don't have much of a choice. But along with that is early mornings are doing that. Throughout the day, we have sweepers going in other areas of the community, and that will be ongoing for some time as we try and pick up that last bit of sand and grit that is around the community. So, yeah. Any questions about that or anything else?
Would it be possible now that we're doing that just to keep track of what the cost is to us, just so we have that for UBCM?
Yeah, I had asked that we keep track of that.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, the other frustrating part is we have to do that, but it's taking away from all the other stuff that we need to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Councillor Earl.
Thank you, Kevin. Just to follow up on the sweeping. So presumably, as we talk to the ministry, our request would be one of two things: either compensate us for our time and resources, or our staff's time and resources, or conversely, in contracts for that service moving forward, that be included as part of the cost of the contract for them.
Yeah, I think those would be our two options for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Earl. Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Worship. Yeah, staying on the same topic, that material we pick up, is it considered contaminated
Well, what you're picking up is remnants of sand, dirt, garbage, salt.
Yeah.
We collect all of that along the corridor as well as throughout the community. We take it back to our yard and we end up having to screen it and try and then what can be reused for we can't reuse it for sanding, but we can reuse it for some other things. We get the contaminants out of it, but
So there's that cost as well. Right,
Yeah.
it's not just our time of sweeping it up and our equipment, it's
And then we
dealing
get it,
with it after the fact, putting it into our landfill, et cetera, et cetera.
100%.
Yeah, so much larger situation than,
Yeah, then it appears initially, yeah.
Thanks, Councillor McDonald. Councillor Parslow?
Yes, well, I find that pretty disturbing. Thanks for bringing it to our attention, but I'm wondering if it's appropriate that at a future council meeting you could formulate a recommendation so that we try to get an action plan so we can try and get some fairness in this. I think the Ministry of Transportation should learn the basic thing we teach our kids: clean up after yourself, and they should do it. It's their responsibility, that road, but with that comes the responsibility of cleaning up. So I would love to see this come back again. It's in a sense, it's just downloading on the city, and that stuff really annoys me.
Yeah.
So if you need a motion, I would be willing to make one.
I think this is already on our topic list to speak with at UBCM with the minister.
Is it?
I think we had winter maintenance and thing, which this is really all part of that. Yeah. So I think we'll just ensure that we've got the information on the costs that we're incurring, time. Really, it's taking us away from other things, whether it be potholes or other areas of the community that we could be focusing on. We've got a lot of resources on this cleanup. On any given day, we might have anywhere from 3 to 5 people, depending what's all happening, tied up on one stretch of road on 8th Street or Alaska.
Yeah, it might be a great opportunity to have a clear ask for that UBCM conversation. There's also, it might be worth having the staff meeting with that one prior to, because they're doing those in advance, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks, Councillor Parslow.
the second thing is, I'm not professing to be an expert on filling potholes or cracks in the road, but I did get out of my electric car the other day because I couldn't believe I had a look at a considerable area of patchwork that had been done on the 17th Street and 102nd intersection near the Narrowton Bergeron funeral. And either we have got new technology or our staff skills are just fantastic, because I couldn't believe that it was so smooth and such a seamless transition from the patch to the rest of the road. So I'm saying that's pretty fabulous, because I know in one of your communication pieces you talked about doing this sort of work also adds to the life of the road before a major repair. So what is it? Is it now staff have new equipment, new technology, or is their skill level just jumped to the highest possible level we could expect?
Yeah, so through your worship, the crew does a great job, but that particular patch was done by a paving company with a large paver, so.
I didn't know that. I thought we were doing all of that ourselves.
No,
okay.
Not that size. We don't have the equipment to do it. So.
good job, Peter Brother.
Anyway, good for them.
Yeah.
So I was wrong for a change.
Thanks, Councillor Parslow.
Councillor Earl.
Thank you, Worship. Sorry not to get hung up on the 8th Street and Alaska piece. I guess for some context through to staff, I assume there's a number of municipalities throughout British Columbia where there's a similar arrangement with the Ministry of Transportation where there's a highway going through town that the ministry maintains and then everything else is done by the municipality. Just, as we show up with an ask, I want to make sure it's not going to backfire and the ministry's not going to come back to us and say, you know what, you can take care of it all because it's in your city limits.
Yeah, and through your worship, it's consistent, I suspect, across the province. What is not consistent is the environment. And so, you think of northern communities, Chetwynd and Fort St. John, the highway running through has large right-of-ways with access roads and stuff, so they don't have that impact. You go Prince George, you get south. My understanding, talking with staff, that there is some arrangement there with with the highways contractor and the city to share some of that work. Don't know exactly the details. But as you move south, the environment gets less harsh, therefore there's less aggregate that's put down, and so there's really less impact. We've talked to Quesnel because they're a good example, but the reality of it is they just don't have the same volume of material that's utilized there that we see here. And honestly, we expect, because people, you see what the roads are like and they need that. I think the challenge is it's a northern challenge that we face.
Distinct us. Okay, so, and if, and you mentioned kind of a sharing, whatever, provided they were willing to compensate us financially, would it be less trouble for us to just do the whole thing, or would we even have the capacity in that instance?
Well, 3 years, we're doing it now, so I mean,
But
if
to do the the 8th Street and the Alaska,
the
plowing
actual
and the
maintenance
sanding.
side of it,
Yeah.
we wouldn't want that.
No. Okay. No, I'm just thinking, as opposed to doing the sidewalks and this cleanup.
Sure.
If we did the whole thing, at least then we'd have no one.
It would be a significant
frustrations
investment,
but ourselves.
yeah.
But yeah,
And,
and that would be presuming there was compensation forthcoming, which I don't get any sense there would be. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Earl. Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Worship. And sorry, same thing. Is there any value for us to engage our MLA prior to UBCM on this topic as well? I know we've engaged him previously about the transportation corridor through the community, but is this something else that we'd like to highlight with him ahead of time so he has a chance to start the discussions before we engage?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be appropriate.
Okay, do you need a motion for that then?
I can reach out. I don't know.
I think we would want to reach out ahead of UBCM. So I think,
Yeah.
the mayor has probably semi-regular, conversations. I think it's just something we need to highlight and have that in the coming weeks, months.
Just take the stats to him, right? Hey, this is what our time, our effort, our cost to clean up Modi's.
Once we have the dollar value too, then we can bring that to him. And then,
Right? I just think it's worthwhile to engage him prior, start those conversations, and then, when we follow up at UBCM with staff, with the minister.
I think what we'll do is once we're done with that portion of the cleanup and we are able to put all the numbers together, I'll bring that back to council. That way you can see it and then we'll take it from there.
Okay.
Thanks, Councillor McDonald. Thanks, Kevin. Any other questions? No. Thanks, Kevin. Diary, nothing there. Consent calendar. Anybody want to lift anything from the consent calendar? Councillor Parslow.
I would like the letter from the city of Abbotsford lifted from the consent calendar for discussion.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Okay, motion. Councillor Parslow, second. Councillor McDonald. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Parslow.
I think it's the issue embraced by this letter is one that we should discuss because it has implications for our budget and presents a far-reaching precedent, I think.
The PST, yeah.
It's to do with PST.
Yeah. Yeah, we dealt with this regional district too.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Councillor McDonald?
Thank you, Worship. I'd just like to highlight as well, there was a resolution passed at NCLGA along the very same lines presented by the Village of Pouce to take to UBCM in regards to this as well. So I think letters of support for that resolution at minimum would be a great idea. But yeah, I think this is very significant to many communities, not just ourselves, throughout the province, right? And it's well worth highlighting and engaging on.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Councillor McDonald. Did I call that motion to lift it? Yeah, I'm just going to call the motion to lift that now. You're welcome. Vote is closed and it's carried. Any other discussion on that? No? Anybody want to lift anything else? No?
So we're discussing this letter now?
Well, we just did, yeah.
Do you want an additional vote to send a letter, or was there a letter?
Oh, well,
Just gotta put.
what, obviously I was behind whatever was going on. Maybe the mayor realised that and pushed this through, but so the reason Councillor McDonald's the comments he made would be sufficient if we acted on them. So basically, the government has changed, really expanded the scope of which you can apply PST. And they've expanded it to include professional services, professional and related services. To my limited knowledge around PST and stuff, all labor is exempt from PST. And I think this is a bit of a cash grab, because this will increase municipal government's expenses. And the letter from Abbotsford offers two solutions. One, they do this, but with the same provisions of GST, whereby you can reclaim that back. But that seems to be, to me, an unnecessary extra bit of work for our staff. And the other is to abolish this. I mean, this is changing the whole foundation of Labour being exempt from PST. So where would it go next? Okay.
We could put a motion forward to support this letter, and then once we get the letter from Pouce, then we could.
Well, I'd like to propose that we write a letter in support of in the same sentiment as the Abbotsford letter, because I think it's a very good letter, and is one that we should put some weight behind by.
To the Minister?
Minister of Finance.
To Minister Bailey?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my motion.
Okay. Second, Councillor McDonald. Discussion. Councillor Earl.
I was just going to ask if this is, would it not be more appropriate just endorse the NCLGA resolution, or is this letter, I guess, effectively doing that?
Councillor McDonald.
Personally, I think we should probably do both.
Okay.
Honestly, let's do both. Let's send our letter of support to the Minister of Finance on the same lines as the Abbotsford letter, but let's send a letter of support for the Pouce motion at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Any other discussion?
So just, I saw Tab mouth the phrase, "What is the Pouce motion?" And then look inquisitively sideways. Just to follow up with clarification from Councillor McDonald, the Pouce motion did pass at NCLGA?
It did pass.
So you have that to provide to her so she can...
We could bring that to the next council meeting.
Okay.
And letter of support, I'm assuming.
Sure. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were...
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Tab, you're good? Okay.
Boy, that sounded sure.
I'll call this motion to vote.
I didn't close it, but
Did you hit the right button this time?
yeah, I don't know. Potentially not. Do I need to recall it? Can't recall the vote. Vote is closed and it's carried. Okay, and then as far as the support tab on the NCLGA resolution, is that something that we would then bring back to the next council, or?
I can read it right now if you like.
That was incorporated in the first resolution.
Okay, so it's all good. Okay, we're good. Okay, thank you. Good job. All right. Anybody else want to lift anything else from the consent calendar? Motion to accept the consent calendar. Councillor Kemp, second Councillor Apollonio. Call that to vote. Vote is closed. It's carried. All right, 15 media questions, no media questions. I'm just going to take a 5-minute break, then we'll come back in. Meeting for Monday, May 25th, 2026, back to order. Next order of business was 2.4. We have Staff Sergeant Hughes with Dawson Creek RCMP in attendance regarding the Detachment Resource Report for April 2026. So, good morning and welcome, Staff Sergeant.
Thank you, Your Worship.
I don't have access to turn that on.
Is that on? It's red.
It's got to be green. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
No, it's all
We're green?
yours.
There we go.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good morning, Your Worship.
Morning.
All right, we will get right into it. For April 2026, I actually just thought of this morning, and I should check with Councillor Parslow to see if this is okay. A little changing to the reporting structure. He doesn't look happy.
Distraction about that.
But, well, we did for 8 minutes, and that's here we are at 11:09. Anyways, what I had thought this morning is it doesn't do much good to tell council what staffing was a month ago when these reports are a month behind. So, with your approval, or if this is what works for you all, I will start doing the staffing report for current, because again, it doesn't really matter what it was a month ago. So the situation that we're in right now, as of today, we have 2 full-time members that are working that's gone on LWAP, so he's away on a 2-year leave without pay. What's happened there is we are allowed to staff that position. Anything less than a year, we can't staff it, we have to hold it. But because it's a 2-year LWAP that he's applied for and it was granted already, we have put in for a lateral transfer, so that goes out nationwide, and that will post June 3rd for 2 weeks. And if that's not successful with any applicants, then it'll go out for promotion nationally pretty quick, hopefully by the end of June. And then that's a little bit of a lengthy staffing process to go through the promotion cycle. But we have started that right away. The Uniform Gang Enforcement team that we've talked about over and over is finally getting up and running. They've made all their selections for that. And one of our members here in Dawson Creek was selected for that. So we will be losing that member, but to a very much needed section.
Nice.
And it'll be nice to have that local knowledge on that team here in Dawson Creek. So congratulations to him. Unfortunately, he'll be moving on in 90 to 120 days, how the staffing process takes. So we have three hard vacancies in the detachment. That member will be 4, and then once the LWAP is going to be a 5th, and then we have 1 member vacancy in general investigation. And unfortunately, we have another member from General Investigation Section that is, he's outbound to Iqaluit in Nunavut. So he will be leaving most likely August, September-ish. There's quite a process to go that far north. He's progressing through that. So our staffing measures, we don't have anybody inbound right now. I will update you as soon as that happens. We're getting the whole north from 100 Mile House North is getting 3 to 4 recruits at a depot per troop, and there's a troop every week or so. But there is a lot of detachments that are in very much worse staffing situations than Dawson Creek. So They are the priorities. As Councillor McDonald asked last time if we were still a priority, if we get much lower in these people that are on their way out, actually once they leave, then I'm sure that we will become a priority again. And again, I'll update you on that as soon as I can. Our crime trend reporting, so these are year to date up until the end of April of 2026 compared to last year. So a total of 2,783 calls for service, which is up 3.5%. From 2688 last year. And the split, we'll just kind of go through this fairly quickly. The split remains about 80-20. Like I said before, our provincial resources compared to the city resources are 25 members versus 6 members, which is about 80-20. And our split for file load remains about 80-20 between the city and rural calls for service. Our theft of vehicle is up 15%. So we know that this spiked at the beginning of the year. So this is working its way back down to the normal. 2023 was 20, and then 2024 was 44. And then 2025 looked like a big, huge decrease because it was only 1 year comparable. But we do see that cycle. We're back to 31 this year. Which we encourage people to lock their vehicles. Please lock your vehicles. Don't leave them running. Don't leave your keys in them. We still get a lot of files where people, like the newer vehicles, people leave a spare key in them. And if you leave that spare key with the fob that push button start, if you leave that in your car, most newer vehicles, all you have to do is put your hand behind the door handle. And if the key is in proximity, then it opens the door. If you leave your keys close enough to the front door of your home, depending on where your vehicle is parked, sometimes it'll activate. So we recommend to people to keep your vehicle keys in the interior of the house or in the back of the house or as far away from the vehicle as you can. We have seen, there was a couple of events at Montney, I believe, where some F-150 Ford trucks were stolen. And we believe that they had read the keys and copied the electronic key. So just keeping your keys as far away from the vehicle as you can help with that. Our theft from vehicles, again, up 81%, 21 in 2023, 11 in 24, back to 21 in 25, and this year to date is 38. So again, that comes down to being diligent when you're leaving your vehicle, noting what you're leaving in your vehicle. We recommend as people, if you don't leave anything in your glove box, if you take your insurance papers, put them in the plastic bag and throw them under your car mat so that they're not out in view. And if you can pop your glove box open and your center console and leave them open with nothing in, then people can look, the people that are targeting those vehicles and those opportunistic thieves will look in your vehicle or can look in your vehicle and you're much less likelihood of having your vehicle broken into. They're not smashing windows and stealing stuff out of vehicles. They're just walking along and popping door handles, just check, check, check. And if one opens, then they rummage through the vehicle and see what's in there to steal. And sometimes they will steal just your insurance papers. So you've got a lot of your personal information. Most of the auto brokers that you go to when you get your insurance renewed, they will give you the finances page, how your monthly payment comes off, and every little bit of information, any of that kind of stuff that thieves can get is detrimental to you and beneficial for them. So ensuring, I think most of the brokers encourage you to take that piece out and not throw it in your insurance papers and leave it in your vehicle. So recommending people take that advice. That can help. Our break and enter to residents is up 108% to 25, and much more in line with the 2023 and 2024 numbers. 2025, we had an unusual drop that we all enjoyed. Unfortunately, that's not where we're at right now. Break and enter, that's residents. Break and enter to business. We were 31 in 23 and 24. Again, those break and enters dropped right off. In 2025, we were down to 3. So while we show a 300% increase, I think last month was 500 or 800 and 1100% increase. Yeah. We're also January, February, March, and April is 4 months into the year, and we're at 12. So it's a relatively low number, but it shows as a huge increase because of how low it was last year. Ideally, we want all these numbers to be 0, if I had some magic wand that I could wave and make them all zero and stop people from doing bad things, I would do it. But I don't have that wand, and I unfortunately don't have all of those answers right now. Our assaults, this is every type of assault, from domestic assault all the way up to the worst imaginable crimes that happen here in Dawson Creek, are up 38%, and that's 88 for the year. And again, most of these files, if not all of these files, these aren't stranger assaults. These aren't Granny walking down the street at 10 o'clock at night and getting robbed for her purse. These are people that are known to each other. These are people that are in relationships. We are doing what we can with those files when we get them. There's a process. Most people are released on conditions just because of the way the court processes are around assaults and domestic assaults. But the big thing to note here is these are not stranger attacks. These are people that are well known to each other that are committing these crimes against each other. Sexual offenses combined is up to 48%. And again, these are historic files. These are everything from sexting files to sure how to word it. What people in their when you say a sexual assault, what comes to mind? That is obviously inclusive of that, but it's also anything with a sexual nature. Kids sexting, sending nude pictures of each other, and a parent catching them. Those get reported to police, or they go through MCFD and then get reported back to us. Those are all included in that stat. And then historic sex assaults. There was a file earlier in the year. I believe the person is still in custody, and this person had generated, I think, 5 or 6 files on their own with different victims that were identified. So that accounts for some of that rise. Drug possession and trafficking, a decrease of 25%. Like I said at one of the PRD presentations, I would like to see this number higher instead of decreasing. I would like more charges to be going through, more enforcement on this. It would be naive to say that the drug possession and the drug trafficking isn't happening. We all know that it is. So the more charges that we can get and forward, we've had some fantastic intel coming through lately. Unfortunately, a few of those, the addresses that we had where people were dealing out of, we did some surveillance and have learned that those people have now moved along. So we unfortunately didn't catch them fast enough. But those calls that are coming in, that intelligence that comes in from the general public, we do appreciate that very much. So thank you to those that have reported those events, and we will continue to do what we can to take those down. Impaired driving, decrease of 37%. That directly correlates to an increase in motor vehicle collisions. Again, it'd be naive to think that people aren't drinking and driving. We know that it happens. The enforcement that we can do pays dividends in the collisions, and these numbers usually coincide back and forth with each other. And as you can see, they have done that here this month. Theft, including shoplifting. So this is all types of theft. Is up 4.5%. It's a difference of 6 files from last year. So again, we started a new initiative at the detachment level, investigating, putting new investigative measures into shoplifting to identify the people that are responsible for most of the shoplifting. And Sean Peddle, the operations sergeant, has met with Crown, and Crown is on board with, I think it's already in progress. I don't have all the details because I just learned about it this morning. But creating much like a violent offender program for our repeat property crime offenders. So I'll have more information for that next month. But that's in the works. We need to get these numbers back down. They were 89 in 2023, up to 109 in 24, 133 in 25, and we're just seeing the steady climb. So there has to be a consequence for stealing stuff, whether it's a lighter or a vehicle. There has to be a consequence. This shows no difference in stealing a lighter Vehicle is theft of auto, so there is a difference there. But a theft under or theft over 5,000 doesn't show a difference in the way that we're reporting this. And I'm okay with that. We need to stop thefts as a whole, not just the more expensive ones. So, mental health files, decrease of 31%, down from 290 last year to 200. And again, kind of in line with our 2023 and 2024 numbers. Unspecified assistance, decrease of 10%. It's not a huge difference. 286 files to date for the unspecified assistance. And files involving our unhoused community year to date are 48. That's an increase of 23%, up from 39 last year. And of course, in 2023 and 2024, we weren't recording that stat. That was something new that council asked for last year. So now we finally have a comparable for that. One thing I will say, I've said this before regarding our unhoused population. As members of society, whether it's council or business owners or police or ambulance or the hospital or anyone in general, we get a lot of complaints about unhoused people around businesses, around homes, on school routes. People feel unsafe, their kids walking to school because there's unhoused people on a park bench. There has to be some measure for us as a community, as a whole, not just one entity, but everybody in partnership to assist and deal with what we perceive as being this problem. Is it a problem? Probably. I made the comment to someone this morning where there's complaints that come in with unhoused people, sitting on a park bench per se, and that's a problem. Whereas if it was myself in uniform and I was sitting with a person in a business suit and we were drinking a $9 Starbucks each, is that a problem? It's not. Nobody is going to call and say, there's a man talking in a suit to a police officer and they're drinking Starbucks coffees and they've been sitting on this park bench for 4 hours. No, that call I can guarantee you is never coming in. It might now because I said it. And somebody's probably watching that will call that in. But that call, I'll see you at Starbucks. But in all seriousness, we get that call all the time. There's homeless people been sitting on this park bench for 4 or 5 hours outside of this business or this school or this park. So just being aware that our unhoused people are every bit as members of society as anyone in this room, or myself, or anyone at our police detachment, or anyone for that matter. So that just remembering to have that piece of compassion, I think it's important. So I'll leave it at that. We will move on to the Citizens on Patrol, So Citizens on Patrol, South Peace Crime Prevention, Crime Stoppers, Rural Crime Watch, that whole group, continuing to do an amazing job. The informal group of Citizens Take Action, again, doing a fantastic job being our eyes and ears, reporting stuff to us, calling in those suspicious occurrence, calling in those unspecified assist files. Fantastic. South Peace Crime Prevention, talking with John Vetter, I believe they raised $800 at the Police Week barbecue that was at the police station 2 weeks ago. So I don't know who they all are, so I won't mention them by name, but huge big thank you to all the sponsors that made that happen. Fantastic day. We have a couple of our regular members that really look forward to seeing yourself, your worship, there. And I did observe that interaction out my window, as unfortunately I was on a phone call and didn't get out to take part in it. But
curious where you were. I thought maybe you were threatened because they were trying to recruit me.
Yeah, no, that was by design. So thank you very much. So thank you to all that participated in that. Huge, big turnout. It's nice to see all those people walking by. And there was people pulling up in vehicles, stopping out and coming over and grabbing a burger, a hot dog, and that kind of stuff. So fantastic day. Great success. And the money went to the Tumbler Ridge Resiliency Fund. So great cause for that. So our violence suppression efforts continue to make a difference. Unfortunately, one of our members the member that was successful in the gang enforcement team position is our most active member in this the violence suppression overtime initiative.
Okay.
So we'll have to recruit somebody else. There's a few of them, but he is definitely one of the most active. He was too good at it. Yeah. Yeah, and then the last, finally, our surge capacity from the other units being RCMP and not being Dawson Creek Police Department. We have the surge capacity of the RCMP division-wide and nationally if we need to. It's paid dividends here in the last 3 years that I've been here. I think everybody in the room, everybody watching, everybody in the community has enjoyed the benefits to the community and the place that Dawson Creek has beginning to return to. I will say, back to the good old days. I think we're not without our issues. We're not without our problems, but definitely a huge, big improvement over the last few years. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully, there's some questions.
Councillor Earl? Not so much a question, just a comment. Thank you, Staff Sergeant, for your report and for the note at the end with respect to the unhoused community. I know, and I think it was I specifically requested, but Council supported, including this stat wasn't intended to in any way insinuate that there's something inherently criminogenic about being poor isn't against the law. Having trouble keeping a roof over your head isn't against the law. Our goal in asking for this statistic was so that we would have the information when we engage with our counterparts at the provincial and the federal level, that we can demonstrate that your time and our money is being used in a way that maybe isn't appropriate because there are other levels of government, be it social services, be it BC Housing, that would be better deployed in dealing with these people, in being the front line that these folks are engaging in. So I appreciate that, and I'd echo the sentiment. We as a government and how we enforce laws and how we enforce standards, we strive to be logically consistent and principled in that. So, the standards we apply to ourselves and people from our crust of society should be applied to everybody. And the idea that somebody that may appear unhoused sitting on a park bench is a threat is something that people need to interrogate in themselves to see whether it's genuinely a threat or you're treating others how you'd like to be treated. But thank you for that note. Obviously, just in general, it's never pleasant to see an increase in certain types of crimes more than others. Certainly anything having to do with violence or person crimes is never welcome. But you did take a moment to note that the assaults in particular were people who are in relationships. So I assume a lot of that includes intimate partner violence.
Correct.
And obviously not something anybody wants to see getting worse in this day and age. How, just for my own, edification, when those calls come in, is it a matter of the holdup is the intimate partner not wanting to cooperate with an investigation after the crisis has passed because that's just the nature of it, or do we not have the resources here locally, be it through social services, to offer them a path forward?
Thank you. Through your worship. So intimate partner violence, the policies are constantly evolving through the RCMP and at the detachment level. How we're dealing with those types of files. I would say there's statistics that I don't have here in front of me, but the amount of times that with intimate partner violence that it occurs before the first time that they actually call the police is, I don't have a word for it other than astonishing. It's sad.
Yeah. Similar to drinking and driving, your first DUI is never the first time you drank.
Correct. Yeah. That's the belief. Again, I don't have those stats with me today, but I don't think a holdup is the right word. It's not so much a holdup. The process when we have investigations to go through, and we've thank goodness we've evolved to the point so we have something called primary aggressor that we evaluate, primary aggressor evaluation, and it's not. It can be either partner in the relationship, and then of course there's any different numbers of relationship status.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It's very
not-
complicated, and sometimes there's more than two people in a relationship, and there's a lot of different factors that evolve, and the more complicated that a relationship gets, the more complicated that an investigation around, because let's face it, these intimate partner violence files are around the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So the more complicated that relationship gets, the more complicated the investigation gets.
Mm-hmm.
There is a process. They've changed the process at the courts, how they deal with it over the years. I myself have seen in my 23 years with the RCMP of if there was any level of violence, then somebody had to go to jail. And that's changed a little bit as well. There's more at scene assessment that goes on, because I think that's probably a little bit unreasonable in some cases. There's different levels. There's different definitions of relationships. There's all kinds of different factors going on. So they do get more complicated. I would say that it's not a resource issue. We have enough resources to deal with them, investigate them. We have huge support from Crown Counsel when it comes to IPV files, intimate partner violence files. So if it helps, I could ask the people that are generating these stats, so we can keep the stat the same, but separate out domestic violence just for the next little bit to see.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't want to create more work. I'd rather you deploy your resources to where they would be the most useful. But
it might be valuable information, and if it's something to determine that we don't need, or after a few months, let me add that.
Generally, when we're talking about people known to each other, you're talking about people who are either living in in chronic offenders, living a lifestyle, engaging with other people in that, or people in an intimate situation, or some combination thereof. So I think we have a pretty good idea with respect to the organized crime piece of it, because we've had that conversation several times. But it would be, the intimate partner violence is one of those issues that is ever present, but always kind of under the surface. So I think it might be useful to have a better handle on that.
Yeah, I'll ask to have that separated out. And and for clarity, when I say that people known to each other, it could be two neighbors fighting over their your
property line.
Your hedge dropped leaves onto my yard. Get over here and clean them up, and then they end up one sprays somebody with a hose. That comes through as an assault file. So that's included in this stat, and I can assure you that actual situation happens.
Yeah,
spraying people with hoses.
We all know an old guy that's very serious about their lawn.
Snow blowing driveways. You blew your snow over into my driveway after I just shoveled it. And we've had people that just aim the snow blower at their neighbor and push it in and cover them in snow.
Okay, so we're less worried about that.
We are.
I think.
So,
not to say you should do that or it's okay, but, I think my inquiry was more geared towards intimate partner violence and how prevalent that is. And
yeah, we can definitely separate that out.
Okay. Cool.
And then one other thing I'd just like to clarify, and hopefully it didn't come across that I was implying that my comments about the unhoused community was in any way part of regarding your request. So I think the request was fantastic. I think it shows value. I know it shows value. It does take police resources to deal with those files when they come in. So it is a valuable stat. So I just hope that didn't come across.
No. I just wanted to clarify for anybody who might be watching.
Excellent. Thank you.
That was our intent.
Thanks, Councillor Earl. Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Worship. I just wanted to highlight when you were talking about the habitual thievery and that going on in town, and that you mentioned that Crown Counsel is going to start working a little bit harder to get a pathway forward to providing consequences to those that are habitual thieves. Just how great that is to hear, honestly, for so many in our small business community and the struggles they face, just trying to stay viable in this day and age without the constant loss of goods. That's just great to hear, and I look very forward to hearing more about that in the coming months. So thank you about that. And do you have your body camera on right now?
I do not.
You do not? I know in the past year that has just come out to be. How is that working for you guys? The body cameras?
Yes, thank you. Through your worship. The body cam is working fantastic. We can never, like we have our little notebooks, we have our big notebooks. There's no possible way to ever get the complete picture, the complete story from notes or from a report. For example, like I've been talking now for 30 minutes. 31 minutes? Yeah, 31. 31. I've been talking for 31 minutes. It would take me probably days if I took a transcription.
Describe that.
And to transcribe what's gone on here, what everybody said, what I've said. The body cam, it all gets stored. It's all saved. We don't need to take that transcription time from every situation, but the times that we do is fantastic. Even like from public complaints, the process now, you can still call into the complaint commission and make those complaints. A lot of the times we'll have the people that have made those complaints come in and say, I said this, the officer said this, this is what happened, and we pull the body cam video, and there's always three sides to every story. So not implying in any way that someone is being dishonest and making a complaint, but when emotions are high and you're in those interactions, we pull the body cam video. It's like, well, this we'll show you. Like, here's what happened. Here's how things. And there's always things. There's the view is as such. So there's always something over here, something back here that it isn't going to see, or it's not going to hear. The audio on them is fantastic. The video on them is fantastic. But it settles that down a lot, and it saves a lot of administrative time in that. And then again in investigations. When we're interacting with somebody, exactly, I said this or I said that. Here's the gist of what you said. That's great, but we have the transcription on the body cam. So it has created a lot more of an administrative load. And I've presented this to council before. The administrative load back, 20-something years ago when I started, shoplifter file, complete Crown package, just do it an hour and a half. And now with body cam and all of the disclosures and MOUs with Crown, it's 4 or 5 hours, I think, for the administrative for just a basic shoplifting file. So and then everything, the more complicated, like you get into the IPV files, goes on. But to stick with your body cam video, body worn camera, they're a fantastic tool. Are they the savior of all things policing? No, but they do help a lot.
Great tool, though.
Great, fantastic tool.
Nice.
Hugely and administratively loaded, but great tool. Yeah.
But getting better with AI?
The RCMP doesn't have the authorization to use all that AI stuff yet that some of the American customers, we'll call them, use, police forces. There's a lot of really, really fantastic things that Axon Bodycam can do. It just has to go through our process first, and we're not there yet. So they're still pretty new to us.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor McDonald. Any other questions? No, didn't have any either. Just wanted to thank you for coming in and presenting, and then just, a thank you for, the continued work that you and all the members are doing. And it was nice actually going over there for that barbecue, because I got to visit with a few members, and then there was a large turnout too. In the time that I was there, it was nice, the steady flow of people, and it was great. So so thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Yeah, you're welcome.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Is it really nothing?
No, I already.
What are you doing?
No, I already gave him the opportunity. We're moving on.
Oh, come on.
Thank you, Mayor, for this your gracious offer of some time here. No, I really appreciated your comment about the homeless. Right, there's a lot of stereotyping goes on. There's all sorts of isms, sexism, ageism, homelessism. Some of those people are accused of all sorts of things that a logical mind would say it's not possible for them to be flying drones over your property, as has been said by a few people. Some ridiculous things are stated about the homeless. It's a real problem for society, for them, but I had a long chat with a guy who was set up camp by the, I think, one of 3 covered bridges that we have, one of the 3 in BC over the creek, old Seacan. And it was interesting. He he did say he appreciated a lot of people do talk to him, and he finds that he tries to keep a certain area clean, right? Puts the garbage in one pile rather than being spread all over an area. You're doing the best he can, right?
Yeah.
And so I really appreciated your comment, because I think it's so true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Parslow. Thanks, Staff Sergeant.
Thanks so much.
You bet. Next, display the agenda, go to 16, recess to close. So 16.1, resolution to move into meeting of council closed to the public for agenda item 2.1, 6.1, 6.3, and 7.1, section 91K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service at their preliminary stage, and that in the view of council could reasonably be expected to harm the interest of a municipality if they were held in public. Agenda item 6.1 and 6.3, section 91J, information that is prohibited or information that if were presented in a document would be prohibited from disclosure under section 21 of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Agenda item 6.2, section 91E, the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements, if the council considered that disclosure could reasonably be expected to harm the interest of the municipality. And agenda item 6.3, section 91C, labor relations or other employee relations. Councillor Kemp, second. Councillor McDonald. Let to vote. Vote is closed and it's carried.